Tell me, what's your favorite sword? Chances are half of you watching now said something like the longsword, and chances are the other half of you said something like the katana. Well, what would happen if we took some of the best elements of a longsword and amalgamated them into the katana? Well, that's what today's video is about. We're going to take a katana and try to create the ultimate katana. Now, this is something that really shouldn't work because the katana is already well designed for its intended purpose. So once we start changing it by putting elements that shouldn't exist on it, we're going to get something that really shouldn't exist.
Shadowversity.
So this is the candidate that we decided would be best for re-hilting. Now what I'm going to try and do is use as much of the original parts as possible. I'm going to be customizing the saya. The blade I'm pretty much going to leave untouched. The habaki, I'm going to keep that as well. The tsuba obviously has to go. Then we come down to things like the wrap and the handle. Now the wrap is going to go, but the handle and the pins, I'm going to try and keep them. Might shorten it just a little bit to accommodate the pommel, but for the most part I want to keep as much as possible from the original katana. Here I have a crossguard and a pommel made out of just some mild steel. Now where did we get this crossguard and pommel, you may be wondering, and that's a good question. We got these from another sword. Now it was a sword that had a rat tail tang. We used it in, I believe, the helmet video. We literally did a tiny little strike on a helmet and it completely self-destructed.
Well, these pieces are pretty good.
Oh, they're right.
Like, we could...
What's that, a scent stopper, Bishop?
Yeah, we could actually reuse these.
Hey!
So we put the pommel and crossguard aside to be used for a future project, and well, that future project is here. Now katanas only have 1 or 2 bamboo pins holding the entire handle in place. It does mean that it's incredibly easy to take apart, just like that. Now the handle of the katana is made to be all one single piece, so you can actually swap them out for different ones. And we have our tsuba, we have 2 little spacer rings, our habaki, and obviously the blade. But this is going to be the base for our ultimate katana. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our crossguard and pommel parts, I'm going to start modifying them so they can fit onto the tang of the blade. Then after that, I'm going to take this, I'm going to completely unwrap it because I just need the wood pretty much. I'm going to give it a different wrap, not a traditional katana wrap, just a simple cord wrap probably at the end, but I need the wood from this and not much else.
Oh, didn't see you there. Well, now that you're here, if you're enjoying this video, did you know that you can help support the channel? We're on a whole bunch of different platforms like Patreon, Subscribestar, Utreon. We even have YouTube memberships activated. All of it goes to help supporting the channel to make this sort of content. We even have behind the scenes content, which I'm sure you will enjoy. Let's get back to the video.
I'm very excited to see this, Tyrant.
Well, it is ready. It was a little bit of a, when we made the falchion, right? I really enjoyed making it. And I think I'm quite happy with the end product. I didn't enjoy making this one, Shad.
Really?
No,
Why
no,
is
no,
that?
no.
Why is that?
Because it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Feels wrong. And there's a specific reason why we're doing this here and not over in the lovely green lush, is because I want you to do at least one cut with it.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah.
So this is like, we have tried to improve the katana. Will we have made an abomination?
Yes.
We will see. I'll be the judge.
Are you ready?
I'm a sword connoisseur. Let's do this.
All right.
So far, I like it. I like the look. Like, this gives me very Middle Eastern kind of vibes.
Draw it out. Why don't you draw
Let's
it
do
out?
it. Let's do it.
So this is the blade that we used in a whole bunch of previous videos that was really pretty solid.
This is interesting. I like it.
What do you think of the weight?
I love it.
Really?
Like the weight. Wow. This feels better than a normal katana. Like, I've never liked katanas being too top heavy. This pummel is doing what I love about European swords. It gives a great counterbalance. This feels really maneuverable.
How to explain this sword? So first off, I've added a couple of traditional elements. These are the parts that go under the wrap to give it a little bit more form when you're holding with two hands. So this crossguard and pommel, we need to talk about these. I thought they were mild steel, and I think they're steel, but they are the cheapest, most terrible steel that I've ever worked with. Like, see this here?
Yeah.
I had this on the belt sander, and I then put it on a wire brush to shine it up, and look at this already.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really, really bad quality steel. The pommel screws off.
Hey, nice.
So
Very nice. I like that.
Because there was a couple of cracks. I had to weld it. It was a whole thing. But this screws on, so we can tighten this up.
Because comparing it, yeah, like, this is more top heavy, which is what katanas are meant to be.
They're meant to be. Now,
But-
this is not top heavy. This is more, the balance point's right about,
Which
it's about here.
I
somewhere.
love that. Katanas are meant to be top heavy, but that makes them less maneuverable. Does this have a stronger curve than standard?
No.
Am I like seeing?
It's
No,
because of the crossguard.
It's about the same, yeah.
The crossguard adds a dimension of, like, it makes it look even more curved.
You're right. It's weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
It's an optical illusion.
Wow.
But let's do a couple of cuts with it because I don't like this.
Well,
I really
really,
I don't like it.
I am liking it. Like, let us know in the comments. But what we have made here, right, is essentially no. It's not an abomination. People might say now, it's not a. Is it a katana? Is it not a katana? So, I would actually class
If
this.
you call this a falchion, I swear.
It's not a falchion. So, all right. So falchions are medieval European single-edged swords. If you want European single-edged swords past the medieval period, we would usually call them sabers, even though saber is a word that did exist in the medieval period. It didn't exist in the English language until the Renaissance, and then we refer it, so that's why it's after medieval period. The name for single-edged, non-European swords, contemporary to the medieval period, is a scimitar.
I knew you were going to say something.
This is a really weird scimitar.
Okay, classification aside, let's do a couple of cuts.
Let's do it. So I don't know what Tyrant is saying here, because this is easier to use in one hand now. The balance is just so much better. So let's give this a cut. Friggin' hell, man! This thing rocks!
Did that thing rock simply because the blade is a katana blade?
The balance is just so nice. But remember, there are things I love about the katana. I did a dedicated video. And there are things I dislike about the katana. This sword addresses all the things I dislike about the katana and keeps everything I love.
If I was to describe the weight distribution of this sword in particular, first off, we have katanas that are a little bit more top heavy, right? Because we've added all this extra weight down here, it does bring the balance point right to about here. My brain doesn't like this because it knows it's a katana blade, so it feels very wrong. And when I swing this blade, it's like I'm fighting against two different things.
It's your own bias. I swung it then. That was gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, it cuts fine, but the blade cut fine before we did
Yes,
that.
but now it's more maneuverable and it's easier to follow up and keep striking. We've done it, Tyrant. We have improved the katana. This is Katana Plus. the advancement, the evolution.
I'm sorry, internet. for this one.
I love it.
I don't.
The weight is an improvement.
Okay, so it depends though. Like, this is not the blade is not a European blade. It's a. My brain is screaming two things at once. It's not. It feels unnatural. I feel like that's the way to describe it.
To me, it feels like this is what katanas were always meant to be.
Thank you for watching, guys. Genuinely, we hope you enjoyed. I'm upset about this one. The craftsmanship is fine, but I didn't feel good about any of this, to be honest. But if you liked today's video, there's another video that I did enjoy making. The one that I made for you, the falchion.
Yeah, you can check that out. Or you can check out the things that I love about the katana, where it leads into this video, because we actually says, like, if we just remove these things that are problems, this is the result. I love this sword. This is my scimitar now, man. So just on the note of scimitar, right? The reason why scimitar is an appropriate term for this, because scimitar is a broad term that refers to a whole range of swords. It doesn't refer to one specific sword. And usually it does refer to Middle Eastern curved swords, somewhat contemporary to the medieval period, even though a lot of the scimitars, Middle Eastern swords of the actual medieval period, like the Crusades, were straight, not curved. But because it's a loose term, it fits perfectly for this. We've made a Japanese scimitar, man.